Welcome back. We're still talking Nigeria. This time we're focusing on the economy. The Central Bank of Nigeria has allayed fears over the shape of the economy, insisting that using prevailing performance, the nation's economic fortunes are not in bad shape as being portrayed in some quarters. The CPN maintained that capital flows into the domestic economy have continued unabated after an initial lull. Is that the situation? Someone asked the question, says, for the man who is out there, who used to buy bread at 200, it moved up to about 450, it's now about 650. Would that person say the economy is doing well, affecting his purchasing? But hold on, we have about 4 people to help us answer this question. We have 2 from here in our Lagos studio. We have Dakwa Kyonshun, who's a legal practitioner and a gentleman. Thank you for joining us.
He insists.
He insists he's a gentleman. Also here is Oladotun Mabinori. Thank you for joining us, an economist. From our Abuja studio, we have Odilim Emegbara, a financial development analyst, and Ayobami Oyalowo, a political economist. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on to the show. Let me start from the analysts. Mr. Emegbara, tell us from your point of view, what is your view, again, of the Nigerian economy?
That's a big question. I think at the end of the day, what we should be looking at is how do we modernize the Nigerian economy for it to be growth-driven and for monetary policy makers and the fiscal policy makers to work in harmony to ensure that everything, the policies they provide are policies that help the economy to grow, and also the policies that help to create jobs. These are the things that are lacking in the economy. Those who are making monetary policy are making monetary policy that are narrow-minded monetary policy that do not actually reflect the general needs of the economy. Those who are making fiscal policy are making fiscal policy based on day-to-day realities of the economy. There is no holistic approach to our economy in a sense that we have a plan the economy that in the next 5-10 years, this is where the economy will be. So are we working towards achieving that? You talked briefly about the issue of the cost of bread. It's understandable because if the cost of doing business in Nigeria is very high, it will affect the cost of bread. And if the cost of money, if we use the simple language, cost of money is high, it will affect the cost of bread. So these are the issues that we have to carefully address and be very, very unemotional, approach them with all the sincerity they require, because at the end of the day, it is about how to make Nigeria a great nation. It's not about how to achieve political goals or individual sentimental goals.
Thank you.
So for me,
thank you, Odilim. Thank you, Odilim. Let me bring it to Lagos for a moment. Mr. Mabinori, the man on the street hears that Nigeria is now the poverty capital of the world, and you want to tell him that the economy is improving. We know that as at the last quarter of last year, the figures for unemployment and underemployment were high. So please convince the ordinary man on the street that our economy is indeed improving.
Thank you very much. To me, I would say to say that the Nigeria economy is improving is actually fallacious. Let's just face the reality. It's very it's a fallacy. Or let me say someone is out there trying to deceive the masses. These are facts. When I say facts are sacred, these are facts and figure that nobody can deny. Our unemployment rate keeps increasing.
What they call empirical.
Empirical analysis. Thank you very much. So this is not even theory. We're not even theory. It's what we can see. Our unemployment rate is currently at 18.8%. That means over 20 million Nigerians are unemployed. That's even those not employed. Then and those that are underemployed, that becomes another problem. That's millions of people again added to that. I always say underemployment. You know, it's one of the greatest economic tool. I mean, there's an economic phenomenon to measure. Because how do you measure unemployment in the first instance? A graduate earning 30,000 naira on a monthly basis, do we consider him employed or unemployed?
No.
Or underemployed? Do you understand? It becomes a problem. So to an average Nigerian out there, what they want to see is economic development, not even the growth this time around. That is, the growth that we have, are we sustaining it over time? And what impact does it have on me as an individual? Can it put food on my table? So if you're just saying the economy is growing on paper, on this, it becomes a problem. For instance, currently in Nigeria, we're experiencing what they call jobless growth. A situation where the economy is growing, even although the rate is a bit, it's arithmetic, it's not what we are even expecting. But let's say it's growing, but at least it's positive. We are out of recession. We're having positive economic growth, and at the same time, we're having increase in unemployment. That becomes a problem because in economics, we are expected to have a negative relationship between the two. As the economy as the economy is growing, unemployment should be coming down. We call it Okun's law in economics. But in a case where we're having both of them rising simultaneously, it's a serious problem, and we call it jobless growth in economy. So it's a situation where we're saying the economy is growing and people are losing their jobs. So it doesn't make any sense to an average Nigerian out there. So what they want to see is, if I finish university, if I finish my education exercise, will I get a paid job? Not even just a job, a paid job that can meet my needs at the end of the day. That's what they want to see, not paper
right now,
reports and say we are growing.
It doesn't exist.
No, we don't need that. And international investors are seeing that. They are seeing that the economy of Nigeria is in comatose. That's why you see HSBC and some other UBS, USB leaving Nigeria. But
even though there's statistics that shows that the momentum picked up in 2017 and 18 is being maintained.
Yes,
you think that's not good?
It's not good for as we speak. For instance, our economy grows about 2.1%, and population growth is 3%. So if you do the negative, we are still at negative. So we can only say we are growing only when our economic growth is higher than population growth.
Okay, let's talk to the political economist. Ayabami, the situation he's talked about, he's tagged it a jobless growth in the Nigerian economy, where you have the economy is growing, but joblessness is also growing at the same time. He's saying that's not good for the picture we want to put out there. But Odilim also talked about the need to have, in his words, an economic plan, that there's a projection where the economy is going to. So that it's like a roadmap. We are at this point 1, 2, 3, 4. So far we've had 1, 2. We're now looking at 3, 4 and all of that. He says that is not clearly put out there. What do you think?
I think maybe many of us here have not taken time to look at the ERGP. The ERGP clearly spelled out a short-term plan of the economy between 2017 to 2019, I mean 2020. So I would not agree that it's not clearly spelled out. You might say we are not growing as fast as we should, which is a reality on ground. But we must also understand that with our population growth outperforming the economic growth, definitely there's going to be challenges. And the reason is not far-fetched. That means we are developing more human beings in terms of giving birth to children than we are growing the economy. And that is a challenge that will have to be taken care of over a long period. I mean, we have not had an economy that was much into production over years. We have had a more consumptive economy. Almost everything that we consume in Nigeria is practically imported, which means we are not producing. So it was a danger that we had exposed ourselves to. What we now need to do, we need to come back and say, look, we must have an economy that produces. The CBN gave us a playbook, which is, look, any items that can be produced in Nigeria, why do you want to import it? Let me give you an example of crude palm. A metric ton, that's a barrel, if you want to use barrel now, of crude, is actually higher in price than crude oil. But unfortunately, we have the capacity to produce palm at a very high level, but we're not producing. So most of the industrial palm that you see us using today is brought in from either Malaysia or Singapore, which means we have not been doing what we needed to have done in terms of agricultural development. So everything is linked. When you don't produce as an economy, the economy will not grow. And then the gentleman in the studio is talking about, when I finish school, I want to have a paid job. That is where the problem starts from. That kind of a mindset that you must get a paid job. You see, the biggest economic growth in any country will be experienced when you have SMEs being encouraged. How do you do that? You encourage small businesses. People don't have to leave universities and start looking for a job. You went to school, you go and study history.
Mr. Yalo, if I may come in here,
banker.
If you're looking at it from that angle, Mr. Yalo, you'll be talking about the kind of curriculum we have that doesn't exactly have entrepreneurship as part of it. So the people are taught, the schools are being, or the students are being trained to finish school and come out and get a job. That's what the curriculum says.
Well, that is where you have to be holistic about everything. And that is what the gentleman here has tried to say about harmonizing everything together. Because if you don't harmonize the curriculum with the economy, you're going to have this disconnect. Because somebody who is leaving school, going to study religious studies, when he finishes in 4 years, is looking for a white-collar job. To do what? To preach in offices? So that is where we need to get it right. Our curriculum has challenges. Our economy has issues. Now you have to be able to marry everything together rather than ASU looking to, let's have a curriculum that actually will speak to development. We are looking at just doing what we've been doing over years. I mean, go to some university, you see the notes that students are being taught. Students are being taught. It's the same notes the man used when he was a student in 1970. So there's been no development even in the curriculum. So you now come and then you are looking for jobs. It's not going to work.
Thank you, Ayobami. Let's bring the discussion back to the studio in Lagos.
But that will be after
this short break.